What's this thing over here collecting dust for?
Ooh. You are now listening to the Collecting Dust Podcast, your weekly escape for all things hobby and collecting. Hello, my hobbyists, collectors, and fellow enthusiasts. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Collecting Dust Podcast, your weekly escape for all things hobby and collecting. Uploaded on Mondays, I think is what we decided. And yeah, welcome back to the show. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you stopped by. Thank everybody for listening to episode 1. We do not have a winner yet. As we move into the announcements, we do not have a winner yet for our Battle Styles Elite Trainer box that we're giving away for 5-star reviews, mainly because, I guess the biggest announcement this week would be that I have decided that I am partnering with Anchor FM to distribute all of our podcasts at Canceled Cult Productions. My wife and I's podcast company, everything that we upload podcast related will be distributed via Anchor FM. The tool set that they have is absolutely amazing, and I'm proud to announce that they are our first sponsor on the show and will be the first sponsor throughout all of our shows that we upload. So thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring the channel. Yeah, and we will play an ad spot, a little ad read later on in the podcast for that. But yeah, so we do not have a winner for the Elite Trainer box yet because the distributor that I was going with to distribute all the podcasts decided that, you know, for all the really good juicy stuff and upload to Spotify and to everything else like that, you was going to have to pay. All right, and you were only allowed like a total of 5 hours worth of uploaded content before you had to start paying. Anchor's completely free, so if you yourself has ever wanted to start a podcast and don't know where to start, Anchor FM. It's completely free. They distribute to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of the podcasts. They distribute to everything. Fantastic. So that is the major announcement that we have decided to, for all of our podcasts, work with Anchor. And yeah, everything will be distributed with them from now on. Again, we do not have a winner for the ETB yet, but we will, hopefully with this episode. So if you're listening to this episode, the final announcement that I have for this week is, if you go on your platform of choice that you're listening to the podcast on, leave a 5-star review and a comment with that. Could be Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever. Wherever you find this, if you leave a 5-star review and a comment, your name will be entered into a hat to be drawn out to win a, what is it? An Elite Trainer box, but Battle Styles. Pokemon Sword and Shield Battle Styles Elite Trainer box. So, fantastic. I love it. That is the main announcements that I have for this week. So we will shimmy on over to the weekly pickups section of the podcast. But before we do that, please consider taking a moment to listen to these words from our sponsor. My hobbyists, collectors, enthusiasts. Have you ever wanted to make your own podcast but don't know where to start? If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. Number 1, it's free. Number 2, this free price includes creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you. One-click upload, automatic and manual distribution, so it can be heard on sites like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can even make money from your podcast. No minimum listenership required. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Yes. Again, thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring this episode. It means a great deal to me. All right. Now we can shimmy on over to the weekly pickups section of the podcast where we go over things that we picked up in the last week. Hobby related. Or not. Whatever. Guess it doesn't really matter to me. But, so a couple things that I picked up this week. One being, I did get in from Japan my booster box for Jet Black Poltergeist, I believe, which is going to be the Chilling Reign set of Pokemon for the upcoming set in June here. Finally, did get that Japanese booster box in the mail, so that's exciting. Probably by the time that you're listening to this podcast, there is already a video up on my personal YouTube channel cracking that open and opening all the packs. That YouTube channel can be found at youtube.com/c/McCavityCat, MicAvityCat. And you can find that there. Maybe we can pull some hot fire. I don't know why I said that. That's weird. But yeah, maybe we can get something neat out of that. Another thing that I picked up over the last week, I got in the mail. I didn't really go over this last week in the first episode, kind of explaining like what I collect and things like that. So my wife and I collect Funko Pops. I collect Pokemon. My wife and I collect Magic. And I recently started collecting sealed Flesh and Blood boxes, like sealed Flesh and Blood product. Flesh and Blood is a sick trading card game. If you haven't looked into it, I highly recommend looking into it. It's fairly new, maybe 1 or 2 years old. Only 3 sets out or 4 sets out at this point now. And it is sick, dude. It's a really cool game. So I did get a first edition booster box of the Monarch set that just dropped, and that just came in the mail this week. I actually did pick that up from TCG Player at retail, so it cost me $127. Last time I checked, boxes were going for over $500. I 4x'd my money, 5x'd my money, 4x'd my money. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna leave it sealed. I do listen to Alpha Investments on YouTube for products like this, for sealed product. He is estimating that the first edition Monarch booster boxes by holiday 2021 will see an increase up to around $1,000. So I'm going to hold. Diamond hands. That's the meme, right? We're going to hold. And, maybe I can get a brand new TV for the man cave down here. Get a nice something with that money if I decide not to keep into the sealed collection. I also have a sealed Welcome to Wraith box. But that was my weekly trading card pickups. As for other things, Funkos, we did end up picking up the new Bret Michaels pop. That finally got to us. We ordered it a little while ago, but that finally got to us from the Funko shop. As well as yesterday, obviously Monday you're hearing this. I'm recording this on a Thursday, so on Wednesday, the 19th, we got in a Funko, what was it, Steve Irwin. The Steve Irwin pop with the dog. I think I could speak for everybody when I say that the world as a whole was devastated when we lost Steve Irwin. So to have him immortalized in a piece of vinyl with little puppers, that makes my day. Makes my week. And I love it. I'm trying to think. I don't think there is anything else that I picked up over the week. I don't think there's anything else that my wife picked up over the week. Obviously, if you're not caught up on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, spoiler alert, we did get some pre-orders out for the Sam Wilson as Captain America Funkos, and I do want the Funko sodas. I missed out on the Neo Funko soda from The Matrix. The Matrix was part of my childhood. Love The Matrix, but I missed out on that soda. So we'll have to see how that goes. As far as I'm aware, that was pretty much the pickups hobby related this week. I also got like an orbital sander and some other stuff for some projects, but that doesn't really fall into this space. So I'm trying to think of any game releases or anything like that. Not that I am aware of. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition came out for anybody who's a gamer here. As mentioned in last week's episode, I am very much a gamer. I did not pick it up yet, but I am considering picking it up because all of my friends say it is fantastic. And I loved those games when I was coming up. Fantastic. But me as a gamer, I am more into PvP, ranked. I want to be better than you in a PvP fight kind of thing. I don't really play single-player games too much, but I'm going to make an exception for Mass Effect because it looks fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. That's super exciting. So we're going to hop on over to Heinous Hobbies here shortly. I did want to preface that by saying that this week I didn't find any new stories that were heinous or bad, but I did find one from 3 weeks ago that was kind of silly, so I wanted to read that one off and then kind of just read off a positive, right? A potential positive that could become a negative, but either way, it is what it is, So we will transition over now to Heinous Hobbies. Okay, as mentioned in the last segment, I don't think that this is like a super, super bad one. Maybe it is. Oh, actually, now that I'm kind of looking at it, maybe it is. It's kind of silly. But this is not recent. This happened, this was published on May 1st, 2021, from WBR. I don't know if it's, it looks like maybe Tennessee is where it's from. But the headline states, man indicted for PokeCon faces counts of theft, computer crime, and identity theft. Officials said that he received over $18,000 from the Trading Con game. Trading Con game. That's funny. So Loudon, Tennessee. A Tennessee man may not be the very best, like no one ever was, after the officials said he was indicted on 21 counts of theft in a PokeCon, okay? And we're not talking like ECC Comic-Con, okay? Or EC Comic-Con. They said that a Loudon County grand jury indicted Dustin Russell after he allegedly agreed to sell Pokemon trading cards on Instagram to 21 separate victims. Officials said they sent him money virtually, expecting to receive cards. Spoiler alert, they never did. Russell received over $18,000 from agreeing to sell the cards, the officials said. The victims later created an online forum where they discussed their experiences. Officials said the victims also later submitted a tip to the FBI, which was forwarded to the Criminal Investigation Division of the Tennessee Highway Patrol. The THP worked with Loudon Police Department and the U.S. Postal Inspector General's office to investigate the claims, officials said. Russell was arrested on April 28th with a $50,000 bond, according to officials, and is scheduled to appear for arraignment on May 5th in the Loudon County Criminal Court. He faces 21 counts of theft of property, 1 count of computer crimes, and 1 count of identity theft. That's not good. For cards, man, for cards, it's absolutely bananas, right? We talked about this last week where the 4 men beat the other man half to death over some sports cards, and now this guy is not going to be the very best, like no one ever was. I love that play that the article did. That is funny. But like I said last week, this is where we are. This is where it comes, right? And I don't want to gatekeep anybody. I don't want to keep anybody away from the hobby, except for people like this. Scammers. Just shady people. Scumlords. You know the people. The people that are sitting in Target with their hoods up, scrolling on their phones because they don't know prices. They're checking the prices, see what they can buy out and what they can get triple for. It's quite disgusting. Yeah, so I guess that is good enough to be a heinous hobby. That is funny. I didn't expect that when I saw the headline. So that is good to know. And then I did have one other article from DOT Esports that I wanted to mention real quick because it's exciting to me as a Pokemon collector. The Pokemon TCG set Evolving Skies has been revealed for August. The next Pokemon TCG set, Evolving Skies, is set for an August release. Just like with the upcoming June set, Chilling Reign, it is likely the Evolving Skies will be a combination of multiple Japanese releases. This time, the sets in question should be Towering Perfection and Skystream. So if anybody knows anything about those sets in Japan, that will probably be what Evolving Skies ends up being for English. And the art that the promo art here is pretty sweet. It's got a nice little Rayquaza there, so it's pretty cool. Evidently, Towering Perfection will focus on single strike cards. Gross! I was so over this battle styles gimmicky mechanic. It'll be headlined by Duraludon VMAX, while Skystream will keep with the namesake and introduce Rayquaza VMAX. Interesting. Along with new Rapid Strike cards. Gross. Both sets will launch in the OCG on July 9, which fits the timeline for being bundled into a TCG set for us a month later. I just saw that and I thought that was interesting. Kind of neat that we have a new set announced and Chilling Reign isn't even out yet. However, the Battle Styles cards can actually suck it and go away. I do not like them. I am not a fan. I don't like it. I think it's gimmicky and it covers the art and it's just gross and silly and stupid. But that could just be me, I guess. I don't know. Let me know if you're listening to this on YouTube. Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I don't know how you would let me know. Maybe send me an email. My email should be visible on all of the platforms. If not, then I apologize. But yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. Kind of neat, but kind of stupid at the same time. I thought there was something coming out in Japan like Eevee Heroes. Is that supposed to come to us too, I wonder? Interesting. They better have some sweet, sweet, sweet Umbreon cards there. It's my favorite Pokemon of all time. Umbreon. I'm not one of them Charizard fools, right? I mean, I like me a Charizard card here and there, but if I'm being honest, I'd rather have an Umbreon, my guy, straight up. Straight up. Oh, yeah. So this has been Heinous Hobbies for this week, for episode 2. If you enjoyed it, please let me know. The next segment we would normally have would be the interview/random. So it'll probably be something random, as I don't have an interview set up. I do want to get my boy Jazz, or Already Been Slinky, on the channel. I've been reaching out to some other creators throughout the week here, waiting on responses. Be sweet to get something started. Get talking to people. Actually, learn your favorite smaller creators or bigger creators' backgrounds, where they came from, why they started collecting, what they started collecting when they started collecting, different things like that. Just how they got their come up in the hobby space. I think it would be fantastic. But yeah, no interview today, sadly. But maybe we can just kind of chat about something random. Then I do have a funny story to close out the podcast. So, yeah. So I think for the random aspect of this episode, I just kind of want to rant for a little bit. But before we get into that, I did want to go back and introduce something new to the weekly pickups, because I am recording the podcast. So I record the podcast in multiple segments, which is why we have a layout, a general layout, because Anchor, the sponsor of the channel and the episode, does allow you to kind of pull in different segments and position things wherever you want, and then place your ad reads wherever you want. So I do record the podcast in different segments as I find things and as I want to talk, because talking for 26 minutes straight, as I learned in the first episode, is rather tough. Not going to lie. It's not the easiest thing in the world, so I do record it in segments. So for this week, I also just got today a nice little camera. It's a pretty popular one, I believe. The Canon M50 mirrorless. Now, I used to make a lot of videos on YouTube. I kind of stopped because it was mainly a Pokemon cards channel, and when the Pokemon card climate started going nuts, it was really hard to get product. It was really hard to make videos with product that you didn't have, and I'm not kind of like those guys like PokeRadar or Pokemon Radar. I can't remember his name. I like him. I just can't remember his name. But or Squeak's Game World, where they mainly talk about in the investment side of the hobby instead of cracking cards, because I love cracking cards. That's my favorite thing to do. Because I never got into hobbies for making money. I got into hobbies to enjoy the hobbies and not to sell everything that I got. But I digress. When you have no product, it's extremely hard to make content. And I did have a Canon T5i that I sold because I thought maybe, hey, a T5i, a T100, that's got to be an upgrade, right? Wrong. Spoiler alert. It was not. The T5i was sick, dude. You could put Black Magic on there, or Black Lantern, Magic Lantern. What? It sounds like a DC hero. Magic Lantern on there to get clean HDMI out. It had a flip-out screen so I could see myself and I wouldn't have to worry about the focus, the manual focus. It was just great. So I thought, hey, the T100 got to be way better than that. I made a mistake. I instantly sold my T5i. I put it up for $300. It sold in a second. The second I put it up, it was gone. It's crazy. Banana bonkers. Went to Walmart, picked up the T100 for $300. Sick deal. Right? Wrong. No flip-out screen. No clean HDMI. It was actually just... It became more of a hassle to set up that camera every day when I was trying to record than the T5i was. The T5i was great. So today, I was like, well, we're going to start these podcasts. We also want to have video on these podcasts, and the T100 is just a hassle, dude. It's just a hassle. It's not a great DSLR, in my opinion, compared to what I'm used to. What do we do? So I go to bestbuy.com and I look up cameras. I'm looking through the Canons, and I see the M50 mirrorless. Okay, cool. Best Buy's website lists it as the mounts are compatible with EF, EFM, EOSM, whatever. So I should be able to use my my favorite lens, my 50 millimeter lens, with this mirrorless camera, right? Wrong. I have to buy an adapter, which the guy at Best Buy told me that there was no such thing as an adapter because it's such a brand new camera. Bro, it's like 3.5 years old at this point, the camera. But I digress. He didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't know what I was listening to, okay, because I didn't know anything about it either. But I picked up the M50. We'll be getting a mount for it eventually. Hopefully start making some more content for the YouTube. I want to do some Funko Pop mystery boxes, dude. I think that'd be so fun, and I enjoy watching the Funko Pop mystery boxes. They're so great. But yeah, so I did have an episode launch over the weekend on Saturday. Nice. It's been almost 2 months since I uploaded a video because that's the last time that I could find Pokemon cards for retail, and I'm not paying them scalper prices because I am not a punk. All right? No disrespect to you if you pay those prices, but I actually don't respect the prices. I don't respect the hustle. I don't respect the grind of the people that are selling the product for that much because it should never have gotten to that point. So anyway, I got a new camera, so I'm excited to mess with that a little bit. So that will be the camera that we shoot our podcasts on. Yeah, so that can go in the weekly pickups. I'm super excited about it. It's the picture is super crisp, and I can actually shoot in 4K. But the only downside is when you shoot in 4K on the M50, you do lose some features. So the video that I shot over the weekend was shot on the new camera. The white balance was kind of off. The angle was off. It's just going to be a lot to get used to, but I'm really excited. So that is another weekly pickup. I did just get a new camera, the Canon M50. Thank you, Best Buy. Woohoo! Sweet. Moving on, I just want to rant a bit. Kind of based on what I was just talking about with the YouTube, man. It has been 2 months since I have been able to find Pokemon cards for retail. Okay? I did find a couple packs last weekend with my cousin. We were driving around looking for cards. We went to the comic shop and everything. And we did go to Walmart, and surprise, surprise, they did have 2 packs of Battle Styles. But this young man, my cousin, he's not really young. He's 28, I think. Just got back into Pokemon again not too long ago. And so I let him buy the 2 packs, build his collection up. Bro, I got like 4,000 cards laying around here. I actually don't need any more right now until I can get some sent in and get some credit for the bulk. But yeah, so I let him buy those. And plus, I'm not a big fan of Battle Styles anyway. But yeah, man, it's just nuts. And I know it's the pandemic, right? There are things that I like about the pandemic, and there are things that I hate. The things that I like is the hobby space opened up to a bunch of individuals that would have never considered doing this before, right? People that haven't collected Pokemon cards like my cousin for, almost 20 years are all of a sudden buying packs again, right? And he's not buying it to make money. He doesn't want to sell the shit. He's looking at it and he's so giddy. It's just a joy to watch, So people that didn't really collect anymore started collecting again over the last year, which is fantastic. That's great. My work schedule for the pandemic has been flipping awesome. For the first 10 months of the pandemic, I worked 100% from home, which my job, 99% of what I do can be done at home. So I would prefer to stay home. But we did go back after 10 months, and we've been this way for about 4 or 5 months now. 2 days in office, 2.5 days. 2.5 days in office, 2 days at home. So I work Tuesday and Thursday at home. Monday, Wednesday, and half day Friday, because we get off at noon on Fridays, are all in office. So I really enjoyed that. And we're considering going back full time here, but they sent out a survey asking what people thought, if they wanted to kind of work from home or keep the schedule. Did they want to come back full time? What's going on? So I know a lot of people want to stay with the current schedule that we have. But of course, with every global pandemic comes negatives. Obviously. Why wouldn't it be? The world went dark, right? A virus, a global pandemic, a virus, shut down the world. Shut it down. Just like an off switch. Off. Card printers had to stop printing cards. Graphics card manufacturers had to stop making cards. CPU manufacturers had to stop making cards. On top of the pandemic and the silicone shortage, the computer space is getting hit really, really hard right now. Super hard. Even more hard than Pokemon cards. Okay, because at least Pokemon cards is still kind of coming in here and there into certain shops. Graphics cards, when they come into the shops, especially around here, even at our computer stores locally, they're being sold for a 3070, which should retail at $4.99 to $5.99, are selling for $1,400 to $1,800, depending on the model that you get. 3080s, good luck. That's like a down payment on a house, like $2,400. That's insane. I don't know where you live, but our down payment on our house that we needed in our account in order to secure the loan, we needed $4,000 in the account. So it's like you can either get a house or you can get two 3080s. You make your choice. Okay? And it's not any one person's fault. I said this in last week's episode. No one person or group is specifically targeting hobbyists and enthusiasts and making their life a living hell. But a byproduct of the pandemic is that you are making hobbyists, enthusiasts, and collectors' lives a living hell by scalping. Some people see the money, they get money bags in their eyes. Look, man, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that if I got a 3070 graphics card for $499, I got lucky enough to snag one, that I wouldn't just keep my 2070 and, make a quick $800. I'm not saying I wouldn't do that, but it's just kind of a shitty situation, right? There are people that I play games with that are running on, 8-year-old hardware, and they want to upgrade so bad. My buddy just built a computer, even though I warned him against it. Said it was a bad time with the shortage. But he did it, and he had the sickest parts, man. And I know not everybody's going to get this because a lot of people that listen to this are probably going to be like card collectors or into other things, but so he bought like the highest of the high end. He got like an R9, like the newest R9. He picked one of those up. He picked up a sick motherboard. He got 128 gigs of RAM, bro. Or maybe it was 64. I can't remember. I've had 32 for 2 years, and it has been more than enough. So he's gone overkill on that, right? The shittiest part is that his graphics card was a 1660, not a 1660 Ti, 1660. And that single part cost more than any other part in the rig. It was like a $600 graphics card. Bruh. Are you kidding me? I got my 2070 for $499 on release day. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. So I sent him my 1070 that was on a water cooler. Didn't charge him for it. Okay? Because I just want to help a friend. And I wish more people thought like this in the collecting space. I just sent him my 1070. It was sitting in the closet collecting dust on a water cooler for like the last 2 years. And I have no use for it. I could be mining, but I'm not a scumbag. So I sent it to him, free of charge, and just said, hey, when things go back to normal, just send it back. Doesn't matter to me. Just send it back. Or don't. Whatever. But, I would like it if you send it back. But yeah, I just, and then you're a part of these groups in Facebook for like Pokemon, and you see the exact opposite of what I'm talking about. You see the exact opposite of the community trying to help each other out, and the only thing you see is the loud minority. The minority of people that go into the stores, buy out all of the Pokemon cards. Part of the reason why Walmart and Target don't really sell cards in store anymore, okay, is the minority. And they buy out the shop, and then they get in their little Facebook groups or eBay, and they sell it for quadruple the price. Nobody's trying to help each other out. And it just bugs me, I don't know what this is doing. It's probably not doing anything. I just need to get this off my chest, bro, because for the last 2 months, this has been hitting me so hard. Something that I love to do, cracking Pokemon cards. Guess what I haven't been able to do for 2 months? Crack Pokemon cards. Do you know how that feels? I mean, I'm not depressed over it, but it's like, I don't feel good about it, I haven't got to do something that I love for 2 months. While other people are out here profiting 3, 4, 5, 6x by just going to the stores because they don't have jobs. So they just go to the stores every day, wait in line, buy as much as they can, and they're making a living that way. I've talked to several people in the Facebook groups that I'm a part of that are just like, oh yeah, I don't know anything about Pokemon. It's just money to me. And that's disgusting, dude. That's disgusting. So yeah, I don't know, man. I just had to rant a little bit, just talk to you guys. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'd be curious to know how everybody else feels. So if you're listening to this on YouTube or anything like that, let me know. Or if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a review down below with a comment telling me how you feel about all the scalping and just the terrible environment that currently is hobbies. You know, it's not great. It's not great. But yeah, I appreciate you letting me rant about it for a little bit. We'll move on to the final little funny story that I have and close out the podcast. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys very much. So let's hop on over to the funny story of the week. So this week's funny story is brought to you by my mother. Now, if we talk about last week's episode when I was talking about how I got my first ever base set Charizard card, if you heard that episode, you may remember that I had mentioned, that's how I got my first base set Charizard card. And then next week I would tell you about how I lost that Charizard card and all of my vintage cards that I had. So that is what this story is about. So around 2016, my mom calls me up. I'm off at college or whatever, just living the dream. She gives me a ring and she says, "Hey, get all your old Pokemon cards here. What do you want to do with them?" And at the time, I wasn't a collector anymore, really. Maybe this was 2015, 2016. It was before me and my cousin started buying the Evolutions packs and playing the online game and stuff like that. And so she goes, "What do you want to do with them?" Well, I'm not a collector anymore. I don't really need them. At the time, it's like they're not worth a ton of money, not like right now. But they still were worth some, and I should have thought about that. But, I said, "Oh, I don't really know." She goes, "Okay, well, what if I just give them to your cousins?" And then, because they're big into the Pokemon cards right now. I said, "Okay, sure, that's fine." Before this conversation had happened, I was back at home one day, and I had found some of them. I don't know where the other ones were with a Charizard in it, but I did find in like a shoebox, I found an old Shining Charizard from one of the Neo sets, I believe, that I had a hollow Shining Charizard, and it was beautiful. You know what I'm talking about, right? The old vintage card with the purple Charizard. That's the hollow part in there. It's such a beautiful card, and I brought it home. I thought, hey, maybe this will be worth some money. I don't really. Well, come to find out, in today's day and age, I probably could have got thousands for it. It was in pretty good shape, but at the time, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not collecting currently, etc., etc. So I bring that card home, and I just throw it up on eBay for like $300, and the bidding starts immediately. I think I ended up selling that card for around $600. I don't think it would have been a PSA 10, maybe a PSA 9. There was seriously no scratches on it. The centering was pretty good, maybe a little off, but it was old. Not in a binder, not protected. So I don't necessarily believe that it would have gotten a 10. But I did sell it in like 2017 for like $600, 2016 for like $600. Or whenever this occurred. I can't remember the timeline. But I didn't sell the card till after my mom got rid of the other stuff. And that's kind of when I saw like, oh, shoot. This could be, my collection could be worth something. If I'm not collecting anymore, I might as well sell them. But at that point, it was too late, right? She had called me a year or so prior and says, "Hey, I'm going to give all your Pokemon cards to your cousins, if that's okay." And I obliged. I wasn't collecting anymore. They liked it, so why not? And we proceeded to give them all to them. Or at least, that's what I was told. I was never part of the process. So she gives the cards to my cousins. Yet to this day doesn't know which cousins they were given to. And they're lost. They're all lost. You know, as soon as the Pokemon boom happened, I was like, man, I need to get some of these vintage cards graded. They've been in a binder for 20 years. Hopefully, some of them get some good grades. So I call my mom and I say, hey, can we potentially try to get my Pokemon cards back? As long as they're not, destroyed. And so she says, yeah, we'll look. But she continually swears that she didn't give my expensive cards, like the Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, all of those cards, the big three, and the other hollows from like base set and base set 2, Alakazam, etc. She swears that she didn't give those ones away. Yet we cannot seem to find them. She's searched the house. I've searched the house. Can't find absolutely anything. She went back home to where her parents live because that's where she gave some of the cards she gave to my cousins up there, about 6 hours away. No dice. Can't find them. They're lost. And so I said, okay, well, I had this Neo Discovery folder back in the day that came with an Umbreon, Espeon, and Eevee promo card. It was like one of the Neo Discovery or something like that. And I had all my expensive cards in that binder. It looked like Aztecian, like hieroglyphics on the binder. So I sent her a picture of what it would look like, and she sent that picture to my cousins, and they said, "No, you never brought that binder to us." Okay, weird. So it's nowhere in the house. It's nowhere up there. Where is it? Last week, I'm at a graduation party for one of my cousins down here, so literally like 10 minutes away from me. And one of my aunts says, we get to talking about Pokemon cards because we're talking about these, the 4 men that beat up that guy over the Target situation. And I was saying how expensive they were, and she says, well, I bet you wish you wouldn't have given your cards to, my daughter to give to her kids. And I go, what? What do you mean? She says, yeah, your mom gave us a red binder full of old Pokemon cards. And I go, no, that can't be right because she gave them to somebody else. Evidently, my mom, so the information, we've got our wires crossed somewhere. So I got a lead. But she explains it as a red binder, not a hieroglyphic binder that my Charizard was in. So it's still lost. To this day. Actually, not really a funny story for the week. More of a tragedy. If you think about it. Really. It's pretty tragic. Either my mom is losing it, or nobody else knows what the heck is going on either. But yeah, all of my vintage hollows were in this hieroglyphic Aztecian-looking binder that nobody seems to know where it is, nor have any proof that it even ever existed. So either we're living in some sort of sick Mandela effect, and I don't remember it correctly, but I have the Umbreon card from that folder. So where is it? Where is it, Mom? We need to get on it. Thank you guys for listening to the story. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast this week. I think it was a little longer than normal. I did state that it wasn't going to be like an hour-long podcast each week. 20, 30 minutes, maybe a little longer, depending if we have interviews or anything like that, chatting with anybody. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys for listening. Again, you can leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. One lucky winner is going to win this Battle Styles ETB. Get it away from me, please. Get it out of my possession. I do not want it. I want to give it away to you. I want to give it away to somebody. Anyway, guys, this has been episode 2 of the Collecting Dust podcast. I'm going to sign off, and I will see you next Monday for episode 3. Take care.